I find it fascinating, and it's actually the new world, and it's also built on the platform concept. You create a platform where everybody can share goods, services, and this will be very much the future. The future will not necessarily anymore a world where people own things, but a world where people share things. Now this has quite some implications on the economy, because you have to produce less goods in order to achieve the same satisfaction. You can share the goods. We haven't, with the World Economic Forum is engaged into a big program to look at the implications. For example, how does it affect property activity increase? How does it affect the measurement of GDP? So it's a new world. It's a fascinating world, and it will be the world of the future. We will share much more what we are now used to own.
The government wants you to put your boomer parents that you don't like in a nursing home. That is their entire goal, is for you to put your boomer parent in a nursing home, particularly if they own a home or any type of asset. Because Medicare, you don't have to pay that back. That is what you get as health insurance when you turn 65 in America. And it doesn't cover much. It covers your basic needs. So they push for you to sign up for Medicaid supplementary. And what they leave out a lot of the times is that when you have Medicaid supplementary, when you're elderly and you pass away, Medicaid seizes all of those assets to pay back whatever you spent in Medicaid, which means that they're going to take houses, businesses, savings, pensions, whatever is left over. They now get that. It is their way of ensuring that middle and lower class people do not acquire any type of generational wealth. Because those companies are going to come in and they're going to seize that house, that land, that business, whatever, and they're not going to sell it back to somebody like us. They're going to sell it to a corporation. That's who's going to come in and buy it. So for everybody that's like, I'm never taking care of my parents, I'm putting them in a home, yada, 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 that's fine if that's what you want to do, but you're going to lose everything that they own if you choose to do that.
Bruce Kowalski. Your monthly universal basic income has been deposited into your account. For more information, press details. You have been paid 2,000 central bank digital tokens. The following fees are being deducted: accommodation fee, food ration fee, recycling fee, clean energy fee, personal greenhouse gas emissions fee, climate change fee, diversity fee. Your current remaining balance is 5 central bank digital tokens, and if not spent, it will expire in 7 days.
The 2030 agenda is just the latest policy assault on our food production, on our agricultural systems. And they've gotten very bold about this. Just a few years ago, you had tons of world leaders, including John Kerry and others, saying that agriculture is responsible for 1/3 of global emissions. We're never going to be able to get to net zero unless we tackle this problem. Think about what net zero means, folks. Literally, you're breathing, exhale CO2. So that's pretty problematic. But there is absolutely an agenda to destroy the existing food supply, the existing agricultural systems of the world, and replace them with a centrally planned fascistic style public-private partnership where big government in bed with big corporations completely dominates and controls our ability to feed ourselves. And I mean down to the genetic level. Like they will own the DNA of everything you eat, every morsel of corn or wheat or every bite of meat that is grown in some creepy laboratory, every insect, all of this stuff will be owned literally down to the genetic level by these wicked, evil corporations in bed with these wicked, evil governments. So that's their plan. I absolutely believe that they would like to see a major crisis when it comes to food, and I believe they're engineering it. They're doing this on purpose, and they're doing it all over the world. They have different excuses in each country for destroying the agricultural systems, but they're doing it everywhere. In the Netherlands, it was like, the nitrogen and the Natura 2000. In China, they didn't even need an excuse. They've demolished almost 1 million agricultural villages, not villagers, villages, totally wiped off the map. They didn't even need an excuse. They just said, hey, it's going to be more efficient. Get to your new apartment, slave. We already built it for you. If you don't like it, we'll kill you. And so this is happening around the world. And if you read the 2030 agenda, there's at least 4 or 5 of these 17 sustainable development goals that have a direct impact on the ability of farmers and ranchers to produce the food that we need. So this is a very, very serious assault on humanity. I believe it goes back to what Henry Kissinger talked about in the National Security Memorandum 200, where he said we can use food as a weapon to depopulate the world. He said, the fact that all these third world people were having too many babies was a national security risk, so we're going to use food as a weapon to force population control on these populations. And I believe that's what they're doing. They understand that if they control our food and they control our energy, they've got us by the jugular. Parents don't want to watch their children starve. Parents don't want their children to freeze. And so they will do anything once we're in that vulnerable position to make it stop. So people, be aware.
Yep. And in the UK, we've got the farmers' inheritance tax. It's been a major story for the current Labour government. And again, you can see what they're doing is they're just trying to put farmers out of business. And then BlackRock comes in and buys up all the land. The biggest landowner, one of the biggest farm landowners in the USA is Bill Gates. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. And also Ted Turner, the nutty founder of CNN. I ran into him in Rio de Janeiro about 13 years ago and asked him about his nutty population control. He's very open. He thinks we need to get rid of 90% of the population. And he says it in public. These people are crazy. There's a reason they're buying up all the land, and it's not to feed you.
You have been lied to. They told you to work hard, save a little, retire at 65, and that this was freedom. But if 40 years of labor ends in a pension too small to live on, what do you call that? You were not born to serve until death. You were not born to watch life pass while you trade your soul for a salary. The world does not reward the obedient. It rewards the man who sees the trap and walks out of it. And that man begins here. Listen closely, because if you miss this message, you may work to the grave and still die poor. You believe you are free. You believe that hard work will pay off. You believe that one day, maybe after 40 years of labor, if you've been loyal, if you've saved, if you followed the system, you will get your reward. But I say this to you without apology. If 40 years of labor ends in dependency, then who truly owned your life? I have seen it too many times. Men who gave their entire youth to a job, only to reach the age of 65 with a tired body, a trembling hand, and a fearful glance at the calendar because their money is running out. They obeyed every rule. They stayed quiet. They did what they were told. They worked. They waited. And when the waiting ended, there was nothing waiting for them. I ask you again, who owns the life of a man who gives it away one paycheck at a time, only to die uncertain, unfree, and unremembered? You must understand this. Slavery has changed its costume, but it has never left. The chains are no longer metal. They are made of routine, of debt, of low expectation, of unexamined beliefs. You were told that the system works if you follow it. But what you were not told is that the system was never designed to make you rich. It was designed to make you useful to someone else's wealth. I will not soften my words. I am not here to encourage you. I am here to awaken you. Because until you see the truth of your condition, you will never walk free.
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot to unpack here. As he said, he made a lot of points that work you to the bone with very little to show for it. Now, the very little you have to show for it, they're looking to take that away and tell you somehow you'll be happy about it. That is not living. That is not life. What kind of life is that? You work and work and work and work and you have absolutely nothing to show for it. Now, the very little you have to show for it, you may have saved up to own a land or own a farm or, own a little bit of house, whatever it is you were able to in those years that you were slaving off to be able to accomplish a little something put aside. Now they're looking to take that away. And they want you to be somehow happy about it. That is oppression. That is slavery. That is not life. That is not living. You see? And There's no easy way to say this. We are still slaves, slaving off to corporations, and they have us in this myriad of contracts, birth certificates and driver's license and passports and you know social security numbers and things like that. Now they're looking to take it a whole step further with the digital IDs. So you are a slave. They love to have you a slave. The system was not, like he said, the system was not designed to make anybody rich except them. The system was designed to milk you for everything you were worth and use that to finance the system, use that to build up the system, the beast system, the very system that oppresses you, the very system that has its foot on your neck, constantly pressing you down, keeping you down, making sure that you never rise up, making sure you never own anything, making sure you never enjoy life like you were supposed to enjoy life, right? So we are our very own destruction, so to speak. They use us, they use our energy, they use our strength, and then when they're done with you, they spit you out like bones, put you in old people homes, right? And then you rot away while they're milking your own children. They start the vampirism that was done to you. They start doing it on your own children, and you're looking at it, and there's nothing you can do. You're seeing the same thing that was done to your children, done to you, being done to your children, and there's exactly nothing you can do about it. You just watch it happen, right? You just watch it happen. So this cycle, this vicious cycle, has to break. It has to come to an end. Before we go any further, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rekha HaKudash. Double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continue to teach us this truth. Peace, salutation, shalom, shalom, shalom to all you brothers and sisters out there that are of the household of faith, beginning with 144,000 down to the men, women, and children that are allotted to be delivered in these latter days, who are all of the elect, and to the brothers that are pushing this gospel in all sincerity and in all honesty. To you all I say shalom, right? So these are things to think about on your daily goings and whatever it is you do on your day-to-day activities. These are things to ponder upon, right? To think on and really meditate on these things. Like, is this really what you signed up for, right? Is this really the world you want? Is this really how you imagine this whole world to be, right? This oppressive world we live in. And then when the government, the system, is the powers that shouldn't be, when they're done with you, guess what? They put their fangs into your offsprings, your children, right? And they do the same thing that was done to you, right? I put together a couple of clips. Even in the clips, some lady was making a very beautiful point about how they get you in these homes, these old people homes, and they milk you off of that, and then when you pass on, they look to take away your property. They look to take away the things that you own by that means, right? That is pure hell, man. So all these years you were slaving off and working you to the bone, you literally have nothing. For all those years you put in, slaving off, there's nothing to show for it. They're making sure about that you totally have nothing. Totally have nothing. Whether you're happy about it or not, they could care less. So they're looking to keep you entertained so you don't think about these things, keeping you in a docile state of mind, have your mind totally comatose, so you don't think about things like that. Because if a lot of people start pondering on things like that, there will be an uproar. There will be, the streets will be flowing with like they say, kill the rich, eat the rich, things like that, man. The streets will be going crazy, but they don't want you thinking about these things, man. What kind of life is this? Work and work and work and work and work, and then you die and there's nothing. It's like you were never here. And the same thing that was done to you is not being done to your children. And you're looking at it. At your old age, you're looking at it like, damn, this is where they're going to be. And to them, they don't even see it yet because they're busy chasing the fantasy, chasing the American dream or whatever dream that it is, which is all a lie. Because, like you said, we've all been lied to. You know, we've all been lied to. This system was not designed for you to win. It's far from it. The little things, the little crumbs you think you have, that is no winning, man. Because you still got to be subjected to the chemtrails. You still got to be subjected to the GMO foods. That's why they're making sure that there's no autonomy, that you cannot sustain yourself without Big Brother. They're making sure that you have to come to them for the want of all things. That's their MO. That you have to come to them for everything. Your water, the water you drink, the food you eat, the clothes on your back, right? They're making sure that nobody out there can be self-sufficient. You know? That is that you will own nothing and be happy. And it's happening right in front of our faces. What are you going to do about it? Another question is, do you even see it happening? Do you see it happening? This is the book of Micah, the 2nd chapter, and the 1st verse. It says, judgment against wealthy oppressors. So this is what we need. We need these guys to be totally judged for all they've done. They've done some terrible, terrible crimes against humanity. We shouldn't be living like this, man. None of us should be living like this. We are sicker than we've ever been, and they make money off of our misery, off of the sickness that they carry out on us, because we are sick because of the sick society we live in. Our food is poison, our air is poison, everything we use has been poisoned and weaponized against us. Our phones, even in our homes, nowhere is safe. You see? So it all goes back to these wealthy oppressors who are all Edomites. It all goes back to them. So there has to be a day of reckoning. Their comeuppance have to come up upon them. Micah, the 2nd chapter and the 1st verse, it says, what sorrow awaits you who lie awake at night, thinking up evil plans. You rise at dawn to hurry and carry them out, simply because you have the power to do so. They've been given that power to do so. That's why it tells you that in the book of Ephesians, the 6th chapter, to put on the whole armor of the Most High God. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You have to put on the whole armor. That's because you're dealing with some evil in high places, some kind of the level of wickedness that you're dealing with here. Your carnal mind cannot even begin to wrap itself around it. You see? So they've been given the power to do so, to carry out all this evil, Knievel type stuff on the left-hand side, to do all of this. You see? It goes on to say, when you want a piece of land, you find a way to seize it. The clip I put together, the lady was going into that, how they managed to take away your properties and they put you in these homes, these old people homes, and then when you die off, they go on and take everything. The children you leave behind, they will own nothing. They have nothing. You know? All these years you were slaving off, here comes the government to take everything away. And then it's like you're never here. All those years put in. For what? For what? So they find a way to seize it. When you want someone's house, you take it by fraud and violence. So this is what the wicked elites, they do. They want something, they just go in and write up all these laws, this unrighteous decrees, unrighteous laws, and take your things away. And there's no way for you to fight against it. They own the court system, they own the judicial system, they own the military, they own the police, they own everything. So any way for you to fight against them, they got that on lockdown. You see? So you cheat a man of his property, stealing his family's inheritance. What is that? You will own nothing and be happy. They take everything away. They find a way to, under your feet, take everything away from you. You open your eyes one day, wake up one morning, you have nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now you're thinking about what have I been doing all these years? Where did my life go? Where did my earnings go? Well, they took it. That's what they did. They took it all. And somehow, some way, they want you to be happy about it all. Right? They want you to be happy about it all. It goes on to say the third verse. But this is what the Lord says. I will reward your evil with evil. Who is that? The wicked elites that are doing all these things to us. You won't be able to pull your neck out of the noose. You will no longer walk around proudly, for it will be a terrible time. So yeah, they're gonna get theirs, man. They will get theirs, and it's almost time. Their time is almost up. That's why they're moving the way they move. Going back to their oppressive nature. This is the book of Hosea, the 12th chapter, and the 7th verse. It says, he is a merchant. The balances of deceit are in his hand. He loveth to oppress. You see that? So they use deceit to take your things away from you. You wake up one morning, the things you used to own are no longer yours anymore. They use the IRS, they use whatever medium that they have to make sure they take everything away from you. Everything. Why? Because they love to oppress. They love to oppress. Look up that word. Let's look up that word oppress real quick. Real quick. See what we have here. The kind of evil we're dealing with, man, on a daily basis. And before, you better wake up, man, understand what it is.
Strong's H 6231. Ashak. Ashak.
You heard that. It says oppress, oppressor, defraud, wrong, deceived, deceitfully gotten. So everything they have, the wicked elite who are all Edomites, everything they got is by this. They deceitfully got it in a very deceptive way. Oppression, drink up, violence. To oppress upon, oppress, violate, defraud, do violence, get deceitfully wrong, extort. You will own nothing and be happy. They will extort you out of your property, out of everything you own, and somehow they want you to be okay with it. You know, there's the clip I put together also with, you will hear Klaus Schwab saying the time of owning things is going to come to an end. People would learn to share. You're not going to own anything, really. You just share it, just like we share music now on platforms, Spotify's and things like that. None of us own vinyls anymore or CDs and things, right? We just share it all on the cloud. That is extortion right there, man. To oppress, wrong, extort, to oppress, to be exploited. From the day you were born to the day you die, you're being exploited. Exploited. Be crushed. You wake up, you're old, crushed, depleted, and nothing to show for it. Your spirit is crushed, your strength is crushed, your mindset is gone. Because by the time you even get there, you probably have Alzheimer's. And even going to be remembering half of the things. It's all done by design, man. It's insane. So I will get here in the book of Psalms. This is the 2nd chapter and the 10th verse. It says, trust not in oppression. So you're not supposed to trust in a system that will constantly oppress you. You know? You're not supposed to do so. Trusting in a system that constantly oppress you, constantly take everything away from you. Your joy, your children, your life, your health. You're being stripped away day after day. You have nothing. Nothing. And become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. This is the book of Isaiah, the 30th chapter and the 12th verse. It says, wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word. What is that? The scriptures, because the Bible tells you what is going on. But a lot of people don't want to hear it. They rather just believe in the bull crap and the fantasy world that the wicked elites give you. You rather believe that than in the word of the Lord, because the word of the Lord lets you in on and a lot of things that are going on and how to navigate in this world. It says, and trust in oppression and trust in oppression. There's a lot of people out there. They totally believe in this system. Totally. They will give everything to protect the system. Just like in that scene with Morpheus and Neo. He was telling Neo that the same people that you're trying to save, you have to remember that they are still plugged into the system, and they will do anything to protect the same system that you're trying to save them from, that is killing them, oppressing them. You see, they will do anything to protect it. Why? Because they trust in the oppression. They'd rather have it so, and perverseness, and stay thereon. Let's look a little bit up on this. The 13th verse, it says, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out of a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. So you trusting in this wicked, oppressive system, guess what? That will be your own undoing, man. It's at your own detriment. It will totally break you. It will totally break you, man, and you have nothing to show for it. Absolutely nothing. You see? You know, something real quick, hopefully even edified by that. And I say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ruchah HaKodash. Double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone. See you next time, Lord willing. Shalom. Shalom.